I hold a great respect for an institution in finance, in fact, two institutions in finance. They contributed a huge part in my life. The one is the BIS, which is Bank for International Settlements, and one is ISDA, International Swaps and Derivative Association. I must say that the practice of regularly following them, reading their reports, and in touch with their latest updates helped me a lot. Today I'm turning 36 after a few months, and I assure you, even if I live till 100 for a minute, I would continue to follow latest updates from ISDA and BIS, that is for sure. But in the life, sometimes journeys or your paths change. Like few months before, a document came in the public domain of ISDA which includes the LIBOR replacement. I don't know how many of you, a lot of people ask me when you sleep, when you wake up, it's around 3:30 in the morning and I'm shooting this video. Tomorrow I have a meeting at 12. So in this 9 hour I have to wake and do everything. I have to sleep and do everything. My sleeping time is very less, but I manage my time very well. That is the God willing, God blessing. One thing which definitely hurted me is that I wrote an email to ISDA and I said that these are all the mistakes you committed in the LIBOR replacement. Like one of the point which I suggested to ISDA is the BPA, which is basis point adjustment. Actually, what happened that when you're a small company, of course everyone know that Treasury Consulting is not yet Microsoft or Google and all, but it is growing at a faster pace and it's a cash rich company. So eventually in another 2 to 5 years we would be at very good scale. So these institutions will not take you seriously actually, and that is how it happens, to be honest. That is part of the life. I wrote them again, no reply came. I decided that why don't I start my own regulatory desk and take this forward, because in 2016, when I started my career, I decided to create a fixed income platform. And trust me, this fixed income platform doing very good. Effective around 20 days from today, we would be completing second year of fixed income platform, and many websites who even not came on the second page of the Google fixed income platform less than 2 years, they are the number one website on the Google, and almost every desk of ours is on the first page of the Google, almost every desk. And a lot of development is going on, that's for sure. So Treasury Consulting decided to enter into a world of regulatory. And I know that it is a very big step which we are taking, but we as a company never worry about the feedback. We never as a company never worry about the status quo. In fact, in effective 2007, in fact, before 2007, when I was doing my study, I am a kind of person who believe in challenging the status quo. At the same point of time, I have a deep respect for ISDA and BIS. There is no doubt about that. And I know that the workforce of ISDA is much higher and larger than us, than us who are having a limited workforce. Treasury Consulting decided to create Derivative Association Network, shortly known as DAN. This DAN will take on with ISDA, International Swaps and Derivative Association. In the next 15 days, which means practically before 15th February 2020, Treasury Consulting would up another domain, which is a fresh domain, which is www.dan or something like that, which we will let in the public domain because we not yet finalized. We are looking at GoDaddy and BigRock, the best domain which we get, to be honest. Having said that, I assure you that this project is not a short-term project. That is also a fact. So what we are doing, we are giving this project 5 years time. In this next 5 years, and you can continue to track this project, in this next 5 years, Treasury Consulting would have the complete documentation and everything, maybe better than ISDA. Example, ISDA never speaks about non-deliverable forward. In fact, I'm wrong here. ISDA never speaks about non-deliverable family. which is non-deliverable options, non-deliverable swaps, non-deliverable IRS, non-deliverable OIS, non-deliverable CCIRS, and list. We do. ISTA never speaks about the hedging technique by private equity players. So example, a private equity player hold a fund in dollar terms and they wanted to invest in a startup in Japanese yen. So their exposure is dollar to Japanese yen. The investor is in dollar. So the FX return is on the shoulder of private equity player. We do. And there are humongous amount of things. So we are giving this project 3 years and we are dividing this into 2 parts. So the first 2 years, then another 3 years. By the next week would come, Treasury Consulting would announce that network, and we assure you that the designing of this network would start soon. And Treasury Consulting would now compete with ISDA, International Swap and Derivative Association. We are already competing with Monetary Authority of Singapore 1-to-1 and already challenging the status quo by multiple central banks. Our YouTube videos in foreign exchange already challenged a lot of status quo, and we are happy that many people calling me and saying that we are learning a lot of new things because of your videos which the books do not teach. That's it. So this time we were having only 2 goals, 2 ways. The one way is to continue to digest what ISDA is saying. Another is to challenge the status quo and create your own ISDA. Considering that I am 35, I have time in my hand, and God willing I have a huge knowledge in financial market and it is growing. So I have decided, as a company we decided to go ahead with our own financial architecture. We thank you very much for your support. I know that we made a lot of enemies in the last 4 years of our journey. Many banks do not like us, many hedge funds do not like us. Many people feel that the day I filed banking license 31st December 2019, many banks started not liking us. They feel that one day Rahul Magan would be banked. Of course, we would be banked. Why one day? 1st April 2021, our banking architecture would be live in London, and around 2 months from now, which is April 2020, we would be live in London. Our British entity would be live in London. Sir, we are not the company who respects status quo, and especially when the status quo is wrong. So example, don't drink and drive together. This is a status quo which I never challenge, because this is right. When the flight is taking off or the flight is landing, the seat belts should be there at their own place. I agree. You should maintain your speed once you are driving, whatever is said by the government at the left or the right side of the road. I agree. We challenge status quo, that doesn't mean we challenge all status quo. We challenge status quo those who are obsolete in nature. With this, we thank you very much, and 2020 turning out to be a very good year for Treasury Consulting, because our fixed income platform is turning 2 years, our banking license is under considerations, and now we are launching ISDA, we are launching CTRM, Commodities Trading Risk Management Systems. Probably in another 2 years, we would have everything in place. And then the actual game will start. And let's see how it shape up. With this, we thank you very much. You know my mobile number, which is +91 9899242978. You know our fixed income platform, www.fixedincome.global. But this is the only challenge where I have a respect to a person to whom I am going to get challenged. I once again thank you very much, ISDA and Bank for International Settlement, for giving so much knowledge to me, and I assure you that by the time I am alive, I can take only my guarantee, by the time I am alive, I continue to have a lot of respect for you entities. You did a wonderful job in the financial markets, and special thanks to Bank for International Settlement. I have read a lot of your reports, and every day I visit your website and see what all is going on. Your triennial survey which you produce once in 3 years and what not. It's an extensive job, sir. I have a deep respect for both of you, but unfortunately, there is a lot of action which is happening in the financial market, and I started believing that this action is not being captured by you. So somebody need to step up and capture this action, sir. I know, but even though we would be competitors, probably 15 days from now, but I would continue to respect you, and I have a deep respect for your efforts, and thank you very much for enlightening. Have a good time and talk soon.